10 most important things I'm going to try to cover, which are most important in keeping in mind when somebody is planning to apply for a student visa.
Okay, welcome, Victor, and thank you so much for taking out your precious time for us and to talk about the visa step-by-step guide. We've been receiving a lot of queries from the student across the world that what is that particular guide and what is that steps or procedure that they can follow from the beginning of the visa application till the end. So could you just throw some light on the process so that it can be helpful for them?
Thank you, Shweta. First of all, I'm so happy to be here once again so that I can share my limited knowledge with our audience, and we can guide them so that they can achieve their planned visa success. So just to come straight away on the point, this study visa is something which is very crucial, because that's a stepping stone, and that takes our audience, takes our students to a final destination. And you know that it's a luxury. If somebody is coming abroad to study, it is a luxury, and it's a very expensive mistake if it turns out to be a mistake. And mistake can be if somebody chooses a wrong program and end up in a wrong profession, or other worse things, if someone applies for a student visa with limited knowledge and if their visa gets declined, that's even harsh, because then their dreams, it feels like, oh, my dream has trashed and collapsed. So I'm going to give some inside options, like what are the things to keep in mind and what are the step-to-step guides, 10 most important things I'm going to try to cover, which are most important in keeping in mind when somebody is planning to apply for a student visa. So guys, first of all, if you are a student and you are planning to go abroad to study, the first thing which you have to keep in mind is once you finish your basic qualification, it can be your 12th class, or it can be your bachelor's degree or master's degree, whatever. You need to complete that qualification, or you can even start the process with a provisional certificate. Even if you have a mark sheet and the provisional certificate, still we are good to go to the next level of finalizing the course provider and the program. So we can talk about those things. So to start with, the first thing which they have to do is their passport. You need to apply for a passport because you need a valid passport to apply for a student visa. Once you have the passport, then the next stage comes, which is applying for an English program. Most of the English speaking countries, they require a IELTS, TOEFL, or a PTE score to apply for the student visa. After that, next stage comes is, once you have your IELTS, we know your English level. And once we meet your parents, your sponsors, then we know about your financial abilities. Then it comes your academic abilities. Once you have your score ready, we know about your academic abilities. We can see in your marks which scores are better. So if somebody has studied physics, chemistry, maths, if they're really good at chemistry, we might give a program related to chemistry. If somebody is really good at maths, then we might give them a subject or a program which is related to analytics, basically statistics, analytics, big data, those sort of things. So a lot of options are available. If somebody has done PCM and they want to go for engineering related programs or IT related programs, we do offer those options as well. So we play a very crucial role in finalizing the suitable qualification academic program, and we use our expertise by talking to students, by talking to their parents, and most of the students, they need to understand what will they study, because we don't recommend just going for the fancy programs or fancy names. Actual thing is that they should understand what I'm going to do and what will be the course commitment, what are the challenges I'm going to face, and then what will be the career outcomes after the studies. So we guide them, we guide students and their parents as well about the whole process, about choosing the right program, because that's very important and very expensive. All right. The next stage comes getting a medical done, getting a police clearance done, because most of the countries, they require these basic things, that you should be of a good character and your health should be okay. You should not carry any communicable disease, because India has very high incidence of tuberculosis. So most of the countries, they want to make sure that you do not carry any tuberculosis to their country if they are a tuberculosis-free country. Then comes the most crucial part, which is the financials. We
Sure.
speak to the sponsors, we try to find out who can be the sponsor, if there are any entries in the account of the cash
Mm,
transaction, cash deposits, or if someone is
mm,
planning to get the loan, we
mm,
guide them which are the acceptable lending institutions even, because in
mhm.
most of the times
Okay.
non-banking financial institutions, if they give a loan letter, it might
Mhm,
not be acceptable. So we
mhm.
guide them which are the acceptable banks, and then what
Sure.
category of loan or what type of loans are acceptable. Because a lot of clients contact us if they get an agriculture loan or if they get
Mhm,
a renovation loan. Those sort of
mm,
loans are not acceptable. Or personal loan
mm,
even, there is a limit to it. What sort of
mm,
number, like what sort of amount of personal loan they are submitting. Sometimes people come with
mm,
25 lakhs of personal loan without a security.
mhm.
So those sort of
Okay.
things we look into, and we guide them when they
Mhm.
have to get a loan against property or they can get an
Okay.
education loan. All right. So we guide them with the process and what the documentation required and what details have to be mentioned in the loan letter. That's also a technical part. So once
Okay.
we have that, then when we launch the application, there is a document
Mhm.
which has to go in there, which is statement of purpose. So that's a
Okay.
very important document where a student is explaining their
Sure.
background, the course which they have undertaken, the research they have undertaken, and the
Mm,
career outcomes they are planning to achieve post studies.
sure.
So we guide students about that as well. Because see, when someone is sitting in their home country, say for example India or any other part of
Mm,
Asia, they might not know how things work in this country or that
mm,
country. So
sure.
they need to show a comparison that before choosing a course, country, or the college, they have done sufficient research. So
Mm,
we take a part in that, we explain them about those things, and then they make a really good SOP. And those
sure.
SOPs sometimes they're eye openers for them, because
Mm,
most of the time
okay.
they never thought of those sort of things, that
Sure.
what are the options available in my country or neighboring countries near my home or in the different cities of my home country. If somebody is sitting
Mm,
in Punjab, so what are the opportunities in Mumbai or Delhi?
mm,
So those
mm,
sort of things we cover. And then career opportunities post studies, like websites like Naukri.com. What sort of
sure.
jobs are available there? What sort of pay rates are available there? If they
Sure.
have this sort of information, then they perform really well in the visa interviews even. If
Sure.
immigration department takes their visa interview, they perform really well in that, because they can explain that I've
Mm,
done the research, I exactly know if I study this program, what will be my career outcome.
sure.
So these sort of financial things and these sort of things are very important to achieve a successful visa outcome. Once these things, these formalities are done, offer letter is already there, and then we apply for the visa. That's the most important part. Once the visa is granted, we receive AIP,
Oh,
approval in principle, and
oh,
then
sure.
fees will become payable. So every country has different rules. Like if I talk about New Zealand, once AIP is granted, then you're required to pay the fees and the living cost of $20,000 per annum at the moment, which is
Okay.
currently as of today. So that $20,000, sometimes officer says you need to transfer into a ANZ bank account in New Zealand. So
Sure.
that's called FTA scheme. So we
Okay.
explain all these technicalities and everything to our students so that they can
Mm-hmm.
achieve positive results for their visas.
Sure.
Right. So
Okay.
I think this will be helpful. This is the thing. Once their visa is granted, then they book the ticket. E-visas are generally granted. Then they can travel. And when they come here, we welcome them.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Victor, for sharing a structured process on student visa application. I'm sure it's going to be very useful for the students who are thinking and who are going to apply for student visa. And audience, if you have any further questions or queries on student visa application, please do not hesitate to reach out to us through WhatsApp or email. Write an email to us about your queries and we'll be happy to answer all the questions. So thank you so much once again, and all the best.